video, we are logged in. This website's been done in X Pro Theme. And because we're logged in, I can go simply up here to Cornerstone and I can say edit page, which will jump me into the page editor. Okay, and in this case, what we need to do is where near the top we've got 3 columns. Here, we actually want to add an extra item. So I'm just going to jump into the front end as well in another tab. Okay, so these have already been created to be exactly the same size. So if I right click, open image in a new tab to all of these, okay, they're all the exact same size. So that's really important, so that then when this is viewed at different sizes, like different resolutions of the screen, it's going to snap and be single columns rather than multiple columns. For that to work correctly and always look balanced with things like this, you're generally going to want them to be the exact same size. So that's important. Okay, so back in here. So one of the things I'm going to need to do is take the artwork that I've been given to put into this extra column and make sure it's the same size. So I'm going to do that in Photoshop. But what I'm also going to be doing is duplicating a current column. So with this theme, I can actually do that on the live site, but nothing's going to show up on the front end until I save it. Okay, so I can play around in here. So the easiest way is if all the columns are set exactly how you want, then I can actually just clone the column. So that's the column here. It shows me which column I'm on through the blue highlighting, which I can do by dragging across here, but I can also do it here. All right, it's important to know where you are, what element you're actually on. So that's not the column, that's the image, that's the text box and so on. But over here, I can be very, very sure that I'm actually on the column. So what I actually want to do here is click that button, which is going to duplicate that column, and that's going to make column 4. Okay, but because the row has not been set to be 4 columns, it cannot put that column in that row, so it's putting it down below. But I can come up here to the row and change that now to be a 4-column row instead of a 3-column row. So I'm going to click that there. Okay, but what's really, really important is thinking about all your different screen resolutions. So we're not always going to be on a screen this big. So one of the things I love about this particular theme is it makes it really easy to control exactly what's going to happen at the different screen sizes. So if we click here, okay, so at the moment I've switched the largest view to 4 columns. So that's why this one here is what I'm currently seeing as my preview. That's the largest view. Okay, the reason that's working is because here I've now changed that view to 4 columns. Okay, if I snap down to this view, okay, that is still how it was before. So that's why that one's still showing 3 columns. So in this situation, I would have a test of making that also 4 columns, but chances are it's going to look weird, see, and it does, because it's just going to be just too narrow. It doesn't look good. Okay, it looked fine when there were 3, but now that there are 4, it doesn't. The largest screen we can get away with, because remember that some people are going to be on even wider screens. Okay, you can see why I love this theme, because it's so flexible and it lets you see exactly what you're doing, and gives you complete control. So in this case, if we just snap back through, okay, we've got 5 breakpoints here. So the third one snaps it down to single columns. That's how it was before as well. Okay, so that's still okay, but this level here, 4 is too much, but I don't want 1. So because I've got 4, it's a perfect opportunity to actually turn this one to 2 columns across, and that will actually look quite good. All right, so that's the kind of thing I would do when I'm adjusting columns. So we're going to go 4 across, remembering that that can end up being even wider on larger screens, and then 2 across for that size. Then we snap down to our single. Okay, but we're not going to save just yet because then that will be live, but it's ready for me to now change the content in that new column that I've created. So I'm going to make an image the correct size, change the text for the heading, change the text here, change the button. All right, so we're back in X Pro now, and this is the spot where we want to add our new graphic. So I'm just going to click on the image here and remove the current one. Click the plus. All right, that takes you to the media library. So at this point, if you've already got the item in the media library, you can just choose it. If you don't have it, you can click upload, and if you click select files, that will take you to your file manager, and you can actually upload from anywhere on your computer. The other thing you can do, which is what I tend to do, is to have a WordPress browser in its own window so that you can have your file manager in its own window alongside, and then you can actually just drag and drop in there. Okay, and here it is there. Now, very, very important, just like we need to be careful when we name our file names, when we actually upload them, we also want to be really careful to use a proper name for the title. Now here you don't need to worry about spaces. You can use spaces, you can use upper and lower case, and you can even use punctuation if you need to. We're not doing that there, but we are using spacing. I'm just making sure I've got my spelling correct. Okay, and then put it in the title, the alt, and the description. Okay, because depending on how that image is used at different points, you may find that sometimes the alt the alt's always important to do because that's what the screen readers are seeing behind the scenes. Sometimes the title or the description will be used in different ways. So I just find it faster to just put that all in at the same time. Okay, so then choose the image and then you're going to say insert into post. Pops it there, and because it's been designed to be exactly the same size, it should just sit nicely in there. And then all we need to do is change the heading. Okay, check the spelling, agroecology primer. Okay, and then a short little text grab from the document that I already had pasted. So I'm just being careful here to make sure it's roughly the same sort of number of characters as the others. Not going to be exactly the same ever, but it's more or less similar. And then the button, okay, make sure the wording of the button is the same as what you've already done. So in this case, it's another download of a PDF. So I'm going to be similar to what we said over here. So I'm going to scroll down here to text, and I'm just going to be careful to be consistent. So I'm going to say download I might just say download document. Actually, I might say download primer. We can always change this after. Actually, I'm going to start with the whole thing. But if we feel like it looks too big, we can always, that's fine compared to the others. So agroecology primer. Okay, and the last thing to do is we need to check the link. So at the moment, because we cloned the column, the link for this one is going to go to the same place this one does, and likewise with the button, because we cloned this column. So that's not what we want. So over here, in the media library, the PDF that we want to link to is this one here, and that is the URL. So I'm just going to triple click across that to get all of that, and then right click copy. Okay, and then that's the link that I want here and also here. Okay, and then save. Okay, the green progress bar tells you that it's saving, but it's not quite done yet. It's almost to the end. You've got to wait for it to get to the end. Okay, now it's done. And now we can click here and say view on the front end. Check it on the front end. Okay, and that's looking fine. And if we make this window smaller, okay, it's snapping down to the two across and then eventually to the single across. Okay, so at this point I would show that to my client and make sure they're happy and there's no other changes. Oh, and also check the links. Okay, that links off to the PDF that we want. And so does that. But there is one issue, which is that when I clone the column, these two are linking to somewhere else in the same website, and that's fine if it's not opening in a new browser. That's what we want. But when you're linking to something outside of the website, generally a general best practice is that you open in a new browser. So if we click at this one here, which is a PDF, it opens in a new browser. Okay, so we want to do the same here. So all I need to do is go back in here to the builder and click here, and the link here needs to say new tab, and same here, new tab. Save that. Okay, let that save. It's nearly there. Done. Up here, if I now refresh it, then if I click here, it'll actually open in a new tab, and same with here.